Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome to Nina's Chelsea Corner. If you're new around here, I hope you're all doing well today, and I'm back with a transfer video because Chelsea are keeping busy. Of course we are, we're linked to everyone and anyone these days, but we know what our club is like. So let's talk about the transfer news. Let's see who we've signed, who we're about to sign, who we're close to, and potentially any other rumours that are out there. I'm not really entertaining the ones that don't have too much concrete news surrounding them because, like I said, we are linked to everybody these days. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're enjoying the tournaments. I hope you are having a good day. If you're in the UK, it's boiling here, and yeah, good weather for it. Hopefully England's win tonight. Convincingly, please, thank you. But anyway, let's get into Chelsea's transfer news. We already know that the MARC GUIU deal is done and dusted. He's had a medical on Monday and is basically a Chelsea player. A hefty fee of 19 million, and a lot of fans will argue it's not worth it, and that could be understandable, right? A player with not an extensive CV that's not really been given a chance by Unai Emery at Aston Villa. They are obviously trying to balance their books. They are in PSR troubles like a lot of other teams are, and it seems like club to club we are helping each other out here. For some reason. And you know, guys, I just thought to myself, we obviously knew the whole Jean Duran deal was very close to happening as well. That's obviously gone cold, and I'm quite glad about that. I did make a video on why Jean Duran should not come to Chelsea and why that is just not a player that we are in need of regarding moving forward, strengthening our squad, taking us to that next level. He just was not that guy, and it now seems, and it had me thinking, you know, Aston Villa are strengthening a squad here for Champions League football next year. We are in the Conference League, and I just thought, how times have changed, guys, right? How times have changed. Anyways, let's not get too into that, because there is another deal that is close to being agreed, done in its final stages, as Fabrizio Romano has announced, and that is for Barcelona's 19-year-old he's 18, excuse me, apologies for that. 18-year-old striker MARC GUIU, who seems to be on his way out from Barcelona because his contract expires next year. I think there were talks held with Barcelona potentially to offer him something else, but again, he's not really had that much game time at Barcelona. He's got a 5 million release clause, which we are willing to obviously trigger. It doesn't seem like too big of a risk, unlike some of the other players and fees we've been looking at faced with, and it's one you can kind of get behind and understand, because again, like I said, with the amount of money we spent on unproven young players in recent times, this isn't quite in that bracket. So even if he is unproven, you can at least say, okay, he's got potential, it's worth bringing him in and seeing what happens, right? And it's not necessarily that he comes and he gets to play first team football. Again, I don't really understand, because we've had the likes of Datro Fofana come into Chelsea not long ago, someone who, may I remind you, was described to be the next Didier Drogba, and we barely gave him the light of day on the pitch, right? He had a few cameos, he impressed us a little bit. Some fans said give him some time, others said, you know, loan him out, and that's what we did. But ultimately, you've got that player there. Why would you bring in others in the same profile with the same level of experience? For what reason? And I guess that's the biggest question, isn't it? What is the transfer strategy here, and what is the idea? Like, what is the plan? Are we bringing in these youngsters with the idea that they'll settle into the first team, you know, compete with our front line, offer a little bit more depth, because we're obviously going to be playing in Europe next season. We've obviously got cup fixtures, we'll have league fixtures, we've got the Club World Cup next year as well. So there's many more games there on the table, so many more minutes as well on offer. Oh, pardon me. So potentially, is it a case that we're looking to just bring in some more backup players, potentially give them more game time, and in the same moment try and advance this young model of players that we've got here for the future, progress them, generate a profit for them in the future. But ultimately, you can't generate profit off players if they don't get game time and they don't play. Like, their market value won't increase if they just come to Chelsea, sit on the bench, don't see the light of day, and it's, again, well, you've just hindered their development. And speaking of hindering development, there's been a lot of Barcelona fans who have expressed discontent with this deal, with MARC GUIU coming to Chelsea, saying like, why Chelsea? This is a player with so much talent, it's going to be wasted there and whatnot. If that doesn't tell you guys, Chelsea fans, everything you need to know regarding how other rival fans look at us in terms of buying, stockpiling all these youngsters and inhibiting their growth, yeah. I mean, and we kind of have to agree here, don't we, to some extent, because for real, like, what is the plan here? Are they coming to play? Are they coming to not? Are they loaning? Are they going out on loan? What is the plan here? So it gives me a bit of comfort though, because I've seen that a lot of Barcelona fans, again, would have liked him potentially to stay. They do see some good attributes in the striker. He seems to have good potential. Not played much, but when he has, he's made an impact. He scored a winner for Barcelona, and we know that there's so many up and upcoming strikers in the European leagues, out in South America, as we've obviously looked at as well, and there is a lot of talent out there, and we seem to be recruiting it for the wrong or right reasons. I'm not too sure, but with this deal in particular, I don't have too many complaints. Again, what's the plan? I don't know, but however, it's not too much of a loss. It's not as much of a risk. We're not paying 100 million for this 18-year-old striker. So yeah, I'm interested to know your thoughts in the comments down below. But again, I'm a bit more inclined to giving this one a chance, and I'm not too sure about the Kellyman one and what exactly the plan is for him when he comes to Chelsea. Well, yeah, when he starts playing for Chelsea, potentially. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on both those players, guys, because it'll be interesting to know. But in regards to what we do have, in regards to someone like Nicholas Jackson, who we brought in last summer, who had a fantastic pre-season, long may it continue, will he replicate that in summer this year? We will see. But in terms of his development and how he's done, it's not been a bad start, or it's not been a bad first year at the club. Considering all the circumstances, injuries, how many uncertainties there have been at the club, the lack of trust in management and tactical setups and whatnot, when you look at his conversion rate, perhaps you're not too impressed. But when you look at the wider picture here, the bigger picture, he's not performed as bad. Yes, again, I've been frustrated beyond imagination with Nico at many points last season, because at times we could have potentially got so many more opportunities, chances. We potentially could have been in that FA Cup final had Nico scored some of the opportunities he had. But again, you've got to cut him some slack. He's come to the Premier League. It's his first year in. He's faced some difficult defenders. The Premier League is a hard league to settle into. So when you look at that, you do think he does need some support. But is he going to be competing with potentially an 18-year-old who, again, has not got much experience? In our ideal world, we wanted to bring in somebody with more experience, someone with a proven record, someone that can score you goals and doesn't really come in with that what if. But it seems we've gone the other way now. It kind of is the case, guys, because we've gone full fire in believing in these youngsters, that we just kind of have to go along with it, if that makes sense. Because again, like, the market is scarce right now. Everybody wants a striker, and how many big names are there out there that are feasible that you could bring in right now that will come to Chelsea? Not that many. So we kind of just have to stick to with what we've gone for in the last 2 years now. The owners, recruitment, the board have made it crystal clear that this is what we're going for here. Signing youngsters, locking them up for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year deals and hoping for the best. Not too sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of over it, guys, with the whole striker situation. At this point, it's like, well, you know, it should have potentially happened last summer, but we all chose to stick by Nico, not bring in someone that can compete, or just maybe give him a little bit more support back up, because again, it was a lot of pressure to expect Nico to be the striker that performs and scores you 25 goals in his first season at Chelsea. We are very lucky that we had someone like Cole Palmer to provide those numbers, and again, where would we be? Because again, if Cole Palmer didn't exist, if he was a signing we didn't make, I'm not saying that our other wingers, potentially our other creative players, wouldn't have potentially scored some goals. I don't believe they would have hit the numbers that Palmer did for us last season. But take Palmer out the picture, guys. Would Nico Jackson and, you know, your Nonnies and your Mudryks and Kunku, let's say he wasn't fit like he wasn't last season, where do you get those numbers from? So potentially we're talking, if this striker situation, we're kind of lucky, didn't really prove to be as fatal for us last season, but if we'd addressed it last season, we could have been in a bit of a different situation here, right? There was a lot more opportunity to sign a striker last summer, that's all I'm saying, but we chose to spend money elsewhere. That's fine, but right now we kind of almost have to endure the repercussions because there aren't that many strikers out there, proven ones anyway. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. I want to know who you guys would sign. What are your thoughts on Marc Guiu, and do you think that he comes to Chelsea and plays in our first team? What do you think the plan is for him? And yeah, I mean, it's exciting, it's interesting. We'll see who else comes through, but right now it seems that we're just being linked with players with not much to back it up. This one seems to be the closest, the most feasible right now. 5 million release clause. What do you guys think? Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please leave a thumbs up if you have, and obviously comment your thoughts down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a lovely week.